Let me show you something. Let me go to the security console for my user. Let me add something for assets. Asset accountant. Mm, let's do a corporate book. I got this. Yeah. Asset administrator. Okay. So let's do a save and close. And let's do an LDAP program. Okay. And then in the meantime, let's go to manage data access for users. Okay. Select this. Go to this. Go to my user. Asset accountant. Let's first select the business unit. Let's say US one business unit. Do a duplicate. Then I go to reference data set. US one business unit set. And then because when I duplicate, I think it's giving some error. So let me do that. Asset accountant. Oh, not administrator. Asset accountant. And I go to asset book. Let's see what asset books are available. In US Corp. That's the asset book. Okay. I save it and I come back here. I'll do another one for the other user. Asset administrator. Let's give a ledger. Okay. Let's do at least one for the ledger. US corporate register set. Let's do one for syndicate. Asset administrator. Let's do a business unit here. Let's select a business unit. US one business unit. See, this is the error I keep getting. Okay. But it still works. So from business unit, let's do a reference data set. US one business unit set. I'll save this and I'll do one more thing. One last thing. Okay. I promise. Um asset because asset administrator seems to have a lot of options. So I'm looking for asset book. Yes. So I said US. Was that the US book? Yeah, US corporate books. Okay, let's save and close. Done. Done. Let's log out and log in back. Okay, I'm logging in back. So let's go to the asset book. Fixed assets here. One asset. Okay, manually. Okay, I think there are some assets. Okay, incomplete, ready to post, adjustment, transfer, retirements. Let's see the retirements. Okay, I want to see an asset which is going to be retired. Anyway, there are assets in the system, so we can check this. Okay, so this is an asset which is in the process of getting retired. Okay, so in this session, I'm not going to show you how to retire an asset. That's not the purpose of this session. Session is as an Oracle solution architect, you would have implemented fixed assets module for your client, right? And client might be ending up using that fixed assets. And as part of your configurations, you might have done some configurations for retiring the asset also, right? Now, that's the job of a solution architect or functional consultant to configure everything and give it to the client so that the client uses that. So they do an asset entry, and when the time comes, they will also retire an asset. Okay, whenever the time comes. But for retiring an asset, there are a lot of aspects behind retiring an asset, right? So when should an asset be retired? What kind of decisions they need to take to retire an asset. Okay, how do they do that? What makes them decide? Okay, so that's what we are going to see slightly from a data science perspective. Okay, that's what I'm going to show it to you. All right. So team, for that, see, let's go to my pie chart. Okay. Let's go to my pie chart and I'll go to this folder called Asset Retirement Readiness. Okay. I'm going to open this code. So in this code, I have used something known as a logistic regression. Okay. It's a machine learning algorithm which is used for logistic regression. And I'm using this to determine if a particular asset is eligible to get retired or not. Okay. So that's one. But before that, let me also show you the data file for that. I go to my micro projects, I go to asset retirement. So this is a sample data related to all the fixed assets in the system. Okay. So if you expand this, you will see there are about 50,000 records. Okay. It has all these different asset IDs, data filter, all these different asset IDs, all the way from, yeah, there are so many assets. Okay. And the different types of the assets: building, equipment, furniture, machine, vehicle, the different acquisition dates. Let's go over the columns. Acquisition date, the acquisition cost, what is the depreciation method for that, whether it is straight line or declining balance, what's the rate at which it depreciates, what's the book value, what's the useful life, years in service, maintenance cost, repair frequency, condition score, utilization. And then there is this last column. This is our important column. Oh, sorry. Insert. I just want to color that and show you. Okay, so this last column is 0 and 1. Basically, 0 means it's not retired, and 1 is it's that it's going to be retired. Okay. So this is a supervised algorithm, which means that we need to feed it information that what type of assets can be retired. So these are all the input features in this, from all the way from A till this till M, that is till your bluish color. It's all the input features of the algorithm, and this is the output feature, basically the ground truth, which basically tells if a particular asset has this combination, there are chances that it's not going to be retired. But if it's a this particular combination, there is chance that it is retired. Okay, it's going to be retired. So this is our sample data which I'm using. Okay. And it's again of completely fabricated data. There's no real data in this. Okay. I just wanted to show you. And also these kind of information can be obtained from our fixed assets module in Oracle. Okay. It can either be obtained as a report or it can be a extract. So in future sessions, I'm planning to discuss on how we can see. As of now, what I'm doing, I'm showing you the screens in Oracle, and I'm showing you the different fields, and then I'm showing you the extract, right, which is a separate extract. But what we want to do this within the instance itself, those are things we need to discuss about in future. But as of now, the idea is the data behind all these assets is being utilized for doing my machine learning algorithms. Okay, so let me come back to this sheet here. So I'm going to run a program called, oh, sorry, I think I need to be inside a folder. Asset retirement readiness. Okay. So I'm running this job. Let's see what it does. Okay. So from this repository, which is nothing but our Excel sheet, because I'm already loading it. In this example, I'm not giving it the file like I showed it to you in the previous session. Here, I'm already loading that file from a given path. Okay. I can show that to you. So basically, I'm reading a file here. I'm reading a CSV. So in the last example, I had shown you that I'm uploading an Excel sheet. Right here, I'm loading a file, which is a CSV file. Okay, so which is having all this data. So imagine in your real-time scenarios in production, you will not be keeping on adding files like that, right? You want the system to do it. So we need to build a pipeline kind of thing, which will always keep extracting the latest asset information, whatever this algorithm needs, right? It needs to keep extracting that latest information and keep on updating the data repository. Okay, so this one has 50,000 today. Maybe when a new asset gets added or when a new asset gets retired, so a new entry needs to be going into the data repository. It could be one table, it could be multiple table. For the sake of this proof of concept, we are just doing one single Excel with 50,000 records. But in production scenarios, there could be a much larger scenario, right? So so we need to think about how we can do that automation, that we don't need to manually upload a file every time we need that. It should be taking from the system. It should be extracting from ERP, or it should be extracting from different sources. But predominantly it should be the ERP, because we are getting the data from the ERP. Okay. We need to have an automated way of bringing it from the ERP, loading it to the repository, and then feeding it to the algorithm. Okay. So coming back to our algorithm. So basically, once I ran it, it said fixed asset retirement repository. So this is basically the same Excel. It's just showing. This is not having any intelligence of its own. Okay, it's just showing 10 records to you over here, and it tells me which is retired and which is not. Now, the prediction, what we are going to do is enter the asset details for retirement readiness analysis. And remember, this is something which is not existing in the data. This we have to do a combination of something which doesn't exist in the data yet. Okay, because we are not giving the actual set number here. We are just saying that for this kind of combination, what do you think? Should the asset be continue to run or should you retire that? For example, I'm saying vehicle. Okay, I'll say the acquisition cost, whatever. Let's keep the vehicle as a very old vehicle. Okay, let's say 2000. Okay, let's change the date here. Okay, and let's call it declining balance, depreciation rate, usefulness, and I've given some default values here. You can override it if you need. Let's call it depreciation rate is 5%. Let it be useful life. Let's keep it only 5 years. Maintenance cost. Let's increase the maintenance cost because it's a very very old car. Let's call it like $1,000 a year, a month or whatever. Like it's the frequency I've not taken into consideration. I've just put the total maintenance cost. Repair frequency. Let's take it like 12 every month. Condition of the vehicle. Let's keep it as one because there cannot be any zero. I've not given any. And utilization percentage, let's make it 10. Okay, once that is done, I'm giving this predict requirement ready. It says the asset is not yet ready to be retired. Okay, this is predicted by the data. Okay, but let's say instead of a vehicle, let's say we'll take a machine. Okay, let's try that. Okay, and then we can do this. Even for that, it's telling me the asset is not ready to be retired. Okay, uh, what else we can try? Acquisition cost. Let's take from this list equipment. Take an equipment and depreciation rate, and let's say maintenance cost we'll give it pretty high. Okay, and repair frequency we'll take it like many times. Okay, condition is this, utilization, let's do a predictions. So this one, it tells me the asset is ready to retire. So the thing is, this is there is no logic in the system. There is in my program there is no logic that you need to as you need to retire this asset and you should not retire that asset. There is no such logic. See, if I go through that quickly, I'm just loading the file. Okay, I'm and all these are basically the machine learning aspects of things. I'm doing a train test split and applying logistic regression, all this. So, but there is no logic in the program which says that if it's a combination of this and this and this, you need to retire that. There is no such thing. System is basically learning from the sample data, which is this data. System is learning from this data. Okay, and it is predicting whether an asset should be retired or not. Okay, so this is one use case of logistic regression machine learning algorithm. And just to reiterate, this one is a supervised learning algorithm. So since it is supervised, we need to provide it with sample data, which is either it is sample data which says this type of asset should be retired and this type of asset should not be retired. Okay, if you recollect our customer segmentation, there it was a clustering algorithm. So clustering is an unsupervised algorithm where we don't have the answer of which customer falls under which segment. Let's say this kind of column was missing. If I had to do this with this one, okay, if I had to do this, then this retired column won't be there. But using this data, the system itself can do a segmentation using a different algorithm, which will be your clustering. There are a bunch of clustering algorithms like k-means and things like that. So using that algorithm, we can still do a similar activity of combining certain assets which are to be retired and another set of assets which are not to be retired. And let's say you have to have multiple combinations, retired, not retired, and considering for retirement. So that's all comes under your unsupervised clustering algorithm. But in this example, I had provided it with the data, and I'm expecting that the system should consider the past data and then predict whether an asset should be retired or not. Okay, so this is one use case which I wanted to share. I hope you like this. So we will continue seeing similar use cases in future. Thank you very much for your time.